black girlfriend effect.
Yeah.
You're
into that.
Yeah. She came in.
What's the black girlfriend? They just come in and start fighting?
James Duncan and Fahad Duwanu, who have a very popular podcast in the UK, and it does like relationships. They read tweets and about stories. They were sitting with Andrew Schulz, and they started talking about the black woman effect.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
And Andrew Schulz said it's a defense mechanism. And he said, you know, because you might get beat. He also said that some of what they did was in protection because they were always complaining.
Any listeners here that are upset at us, we just want to let you know that you're gonna stay upset. Okay, what we're not gonna do is sit here with our dicks tucked between our legs, apologizing on the podcast for jokes.
An honor, but if you made it through that intro, congratulations, you're the 1% of the 1%. This might be a controversial take depending on what your opinions are on the purpose of content creators is. If you believe it's a content creator's purpose or mission to protect their audience from any criticism, then we fundamentally disagree. Full stop.
In something that's like really hurt people that look to us for support and look to us to feel protected. And protected is the main thing that I wanted to discuss, is that it is our duty to protect you guys.
Pause.
Yo.
I feel like we've failed.
With all that being said, I'm excited to talk about this beef where two topics that I cover on this channel, sports and comedy, cross over. Ryan Clark, former NFL safety, current ESPN correspondent, and co-host to The Pivot, is clashing with Andrew Schulz and the Flagrant crew over old spicy comments, or better known as jokes, over the black girlfriend effect.
And in addressing Andrew Schulz, who I do think is funny, who sits with Charlemagne and has some of these discussions about the culture, I believe he got too comfortable.
Let's go ahead and check out the clip. But before any of that, over 98% of daily consumers to this channel have yet to subscribe. If you could do me the huge favor of hitting that sub button, I greatly appreciate it. And with that, let's get into it. Alrighty, y'all. So this is Ryan Clark and the rest of the guys at The Pivot giving their 2 cents and their opinions on the, mind you, maybe 10 seconds of a maybe 2-hour podcast about talking about black women. And mind you, folks, these are jokes. So this was what the takeaway was from The Pivot. Ryan Clark,
the podcast.
Let's rock and roll. I believe this guy, you know, because he works at ESPN, you know, owned by Disney, has to be, you know, he's got to say these comments, got to say these things. He's got to be an ally because, you know, silence is violence.
And you do shows, and sometimes you can get yourself in position to where you do have to make a stand.
So deep
you have to make a
too,
decision
like,
of how
this is
you're going to
terrible.
behave, whether it be on your show or somebody else's.
This is fucked.
James Duncan and Fahad Duwanu, who have a very popular podcast in the UK, and it does like relationships.
That's the shits and gigs guys that were, you know, in fight or flight mode with Andrew Schulz over his absolutely absurd comments about black women being noisy.
They read tweets and about stories. They were sitting with Andrew Schulz, and they started talking about the black woman effect. And they were mostly talking about it like in the Travis Kelce case, right? The fade, the beard, stuff like that. And Andrew Schulz said it's a defense mechanism. And he said, you know, because you might get beat. And he also said that some of what they did was in protection because they were always complaining. And the other two, the two black men just sat and laughed.
Correction, Ryan Clark, you must have not seen the clip because there was actually 3 black men. Andrew Schulz has a black co-host. So, no, not just 2 black men.
They've taken a lot of backlash for that. Obviously, Andrew Schulz had taken backlash for it.
I don't think he got any backlash
on being in that sort of situation and how to handle it.
I would first say, you know, I've dabbled in the comedic side of things, and you push the envelope with that. But with that, I don't know how y'all feel. I've never heard of the black woman effect, because that's all I've dated. So I don't know if there's a white woman effect, Indian woman effect, Asian woman effect, but to
ain't no fucking Indian woman effect. Don't nobody want to fucking date them stinky bitches.
to speak on black woman like that, that's all I was raised around. That's all I've ever dated. That's all I know. That's all my, you know, all I've been married to. Obviously, only been married once. But there are certain things you can't do. And so with Schulz, it doesn't have to be combative and fighting and getting up acting crazy. But I think those dudes should have pushed back. I think maybe their culture, the European black dude culture might be different than ours, but when I did see it, it upset me because the whole thing about, argumentative black women and all this stuff, I think it's a stigma that people put on black women.
It's a stigma, but it's real. I mean, just a simple, like, spend any amount of time on the internet, maybe within 5 minutes, you will come across a video of a black chick fighting another black girl, humiliating their man, or just acting absolutely crazy. So this thing that we now want to like act like black women in general act up, but to say that black women are angels and they never do anything, I mean, just go on Twitter and you'll definitely see stuff.
Put on my black sisters, put on my wife, put on my black family members that I don't like.
Right.
Bro, it's not about you though. Like, he's saying generalities. Like, when you're talking in generalities, like, no one's talking about your fucking wife, bro.
Like a strong woman. If some bitch ass dudes can't deal with a strong woman and they say that's argumentative or combative, then go get you a weak woman, go get you a do-girl. But that's what I'm saying.
No one wants to deal with the fucking chick that's bitching nonstop though. Like, that's not appealing. So it's crazy to be like, oh, you can't deal with a fucking, independent boss ass babe. It's like, if this bitch was so independent, why the fuck is she dating him? Why is she with a fucking dude? Like, no one wants to hear some bitch complain all the time. What the fuck?
Saying, if you're saying that, I'll push back and say, you don't want a strong woman. You don't want somebody that can run things. You want somebody that can push back. You want
run
somebody
things. You're supposed to be the head of household as a male. Why is this woman running things?
You just want a yes woman, and I can't deal with nobody with a yes woman. So
you can tell this guy's fucking wife totally runs the show. What a fucking loser.
I do think it was cultural when I saw it and saw them European dudes. I think they're built different than American black dudes are, and I don't know how y'all feel about it. And I do think,
mind you, I think domestic violence in black households is off the charts.
I feel a certain way about them disrespecting the black women that I love and that I know.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you, Chan. I just want to say, I believe those guys were just happy to be in that moment. Andrew Schulz, maybe in their eyes, is a big get, right? We've had some huge people or guests on our show that we still challenge them. Like, we still ask them questions. I believe when he made the reference to black women, I don't think he should have been in position to say that.
Why? The only people that can talk about black women is black men? Is that what he's suggesting? Black women can only be criticized by black men. What if you have a black wife and you're not black? What if your wife is African American and you are white or Latino or anything else? Are you not allowed to criticize any of her faults because you're yourself are not a black person? See, this is the thing. Once you get into topics like this, where it's like, only if someone told me, hey, Latino women do this, they yell, they act up, and it's a part of a comedy show, I laugh and just keep it pushing. I'm not like, you can't talk about my Latina sisters and fucking women, you fucking cocksucker. You are a white male. You cannot talk about Latino women. It's like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm there for, it's what it is. It's a comedy. It's there for amusement. This is not a TED Talk, my guy.
Usually a fan of Andrew of Schulz. I mean, I think I like his comedy style. He's usually pretty creative. I think in that particular moment, he shouldn't have spoke on another race in that manner.
Why? Why? He doesn't mean another race. He means black people. He doesn't. Let's get that 100% clear. He'd had no problem if Andrew Schulz was talking shit about Chinese fucking bitches, Native American bitches, Latina bitches, any other fucking females. He would not give a fuck about. But the fact that it's black women, and right now it's like super trendy to be like, all black women are perfect and they're leaders and they're inspirational and they're awesome and they can defend themselves, but also we need to protect them.
Right. There's some truth in comedy. I think a lot of comedians hide behind what they really feel.
He's essentially calling Andrew Schulz a racist.
Chop it up as a joke. In this particular instance, it's not a joke.
Why not? Why is it not a joke?
We take that serious. There have been plenty of times where RC said, hey, we have to protect black women.
Why? Why is it your duty to protect black women? I don't understand. Where does that come from? Like, so you see a black woman, robbing somebody or doing something bad, and she's getting, scolded or punished or criticized for that, your first idea is like, oh no, I have to protect this black woman from criticism. That's the thing. It's like, you can't make someone you can't set a specific group of people and be like, these people are virtuous in every aspect, so any criticism of them is obviously racism. And I don't see it in any other culture except for the black culture where things like that seem to be. I don't ever hear Latinos, Latin men, especially, I don't say it. If someone's like, oh, Mexican bitches act like this, I'll be like, yeah, they do be acting that way.
I want to protect
That's crazy.
all women, but certainly because I was raised by a black woman.
It's not about you, bro.
Their plight.
No one's talking about your mom.
I know that they're a devil minority for a reason. Like the challenges that they face and the stuff that they've gone through, not simply just from society, but being the highest percentage of a single parent.
And who's at fault for that? A lot of black guys out there not supporting their families. I think first things first, before you start calling people racist, you should probably get your shit in order and figure out the issues why so many, African-American black women end up as single mothers. What is happening in the black male community? Why are they abandoning their children?
The black women, they go through hell. And
by who?
We have
Who's
to
giving
find
them help?
the best
no
means of
accountability,
protecting them. And that's
protecting
even
them essentially from other black people.
Speaking to a comedian as Andrew Schulz, who, again, I thought it's a dope comedian, right? I like his creativity and comedy, but don't say that, man.
Why?
You can't do that.
Why can't you talk? You can't talk about black women. This is fucking wild. These motherfuckers are soft as shit. What happened to these dudes? Weren't these professional athletes? I'm pretty sure they ran through fucking all kinds of chicks, and now it's just like, hey, bro, don't talk about black women. It might fuck up my bottom dollar. I need my money. I need my sponsorships. I see they are a part of a culture where if violence is violence and also silence is violence. So if they don't overtly come out and stand against perceived racism, then they are basically, agreeing with Andrew Schulz, what Andrew Schulz said, which was absolutely nothing. It was like a 30-second clip.
Let the women do it. Let them say they're tough.
Bro, it's fucking comedy, my guy.
They hold their men accountable. There's not.
They bitch though too. They also commit crimes.
For you to turn that into a joke. That's my 2 cents on it. I don't want to
weak ass 2 cents, my guy.
Deeper into it, but
be honest,
it's just bad timing for you, and
bad
hopefully
timing.
It's only a joke, and we'll.
He keeps insinuating Andrew Schulz is racist.
The first thing is when you think
let's see RC's great take.
The two podcasters from the UK is we don't know if the black experience there is the same as the black experience for African Americans or black people that grew up in America. I'm sure to be on this media tour in the US and to sit with Andrew Schulz was a big thing for them. I don't care if it was a big thing. And in addressing Andrew Schulz, who I do think is funny, who sits with Charlemagne and has some of these discussions about the culture, I believe he got too comfortable. So I was like,
and that's where I wanted to pause. Rashi is basically saying if you're not black, you are not allowed to speak on any topics involving African American people. Mind you, this is not just African Americans or black people. This is Americans. They're not just talking about, they're talking about black girls, ghetto black girls in America. And I'm not a huge Andrew Schulz fan. I don't really listen to his podcast too often. I feel like recently it's become really fluffy and, mainstream and not asking hard questions. And that's why this clip is months old, because recently he hasn't really had any, push. He hasn't pushed anybody back. I mean, he's had a bunch of softball, interviews. But what I like to point out is that when Fresh and Fit were on Andrew Schulz podcast, which was 2 years ago, it's such a paradigm shift with how Andrew Schulz's podcast, Flagrant, has gone through an arc where, Fresh and Fit said that they were not interested in ghetto black girls, and they were grilled for those comments. And now 2 years later, Andrew Schulz and his friends, his team, even the other black guy and the Indian guy, can acknowledge that black girls sometimes are fucking annoying as fuck and don't know when to shut the fuck up. And that's most women in general, but they fight with you, they argue. A lot of black women, have a really masculine energy. So now they can acknowledge that they've almost gone full circle from that Fresh and Fit podcast where they were absolutely, you know, devastatingly mad, and they wanted an apology from Fresh and Fit over their comments about not interested in, you know, black ghetto women. Look how the tables have turned. They now, you know, can acknowledge that, you know, some people, some women, black, happen to be fucking annoying as fuck.
To explain some things to him.
And get
I
on
want
loud.
to explain to him the black experience,
And we'll fight
the black
their boyfriends.
woman experience from my point of view. It was watching my mother start from a bank teller and work her way up.
That's
for
anecdotal,
decades
RC.
To run her own collateral.
That's anecdotal
department,
evidence.
only to be mistreated when the bank was sold to another bank, and be so sick on Sunday that I finally had to say, hey mom, you're old enough to retire. It was to see her go to that same job 8 to 5, to be treated anyway that she had to be treated because she only had a high school diploma, and then find ways to not only feed me, but do homework with me and my brother, take us to practice because my dad worked 3 jobs. That was the first black woman experience that I had.
It's like a regular experience. It's not even like, she's not doing anything out of the ordinary. This is not a superstar. She was a teller at a bank with a diploma. I mean, everyday women do this. This is not an accolade. This is not a high praise. He's like talking like she fucking worked at NASA. It's like, my guy, your mom was a teller. Nothing wrong with that. I'm glad he had a, you know, supportive, great mother that worked and that a lot of people don't have. That's great. But my guy, like, you're not saying anything nuts. Like, this isn't something crazy.
Right, the second black woman experience I had is marrying a black woman and watching her sleep on my cot as doctors try to figure out why I'm 140 pounds and I'm a 30-year-old man who was 205 pounds a month before that. Her telling me months after that she would just go in the bathroom and cry every night in the hospital because she didn't want me to worry about her. Because
sympathy strings. They're trying to pull on your, they're trying to make you feel bad. This is good tactics. These are great tactics. Be like, listen, I know 3 black women that were super nice, so that instantly discredits all the terrible things that some black women have done. There was that article recently where that one, you know, black woman went to like a Target and stabbed a child in a, you know, parking lot, you know, a 2-year-old. So is that black woman free of criticism? Can we not criticize this black woman that stabbed a 2-year-old child because we're not black, and, you know, because I'm not African, I can't be like, hey, yo, that lady was a fucking piece of shit.
because I was so sick. Right? For her to hold my family together so I could be in the household with my children when I was doing things and I wasn't shit. That's the black woman experience. The black woman experience is black women caring so much about the nuclear black family, black women taking care of.
If black women cared so much about the nuclear family, why do they have some of the highest statistics per capita of single motherhood? They obviously do not care that much.
Young black men, to teach them how to be leaders, to teach them how to be strong.
Young black men should be taught how to be leaders by their fathers. The problem is single motherhood is crazy in the black community, and they should not be teaching young black men how to lead because that is the father's place. But once again, if a father is not in the home, is abandoning or is raising other children, which happens often, raising another man's children, how can you expect them to, you know, learn how to be leaders from a woman?
Teach them how to care about their God, about their family, and it's about their communities. And to raise their young black women to be independent enough to take care of themselves, but to understand how to support a family, how to support a man, while also understanding how to get it on your own. That's the black woman experience that I know. The reason that black women are tough is because when you're mistreated in the way that black women are,
Mistreated by who? This is the thing we keep coming back to. Black women are often mistreated by what? Ding, ding, ding. Other black people, black
you're
males
not tough,
specifically.
you just die off, you don't survive. That's the black woman experience. And the other piece of it is too, is something that I've learned, and I learned it from black women, is people feel so comfortable disrespecting them because we don't respect them publicly.
Oh,
Right?
there it is.
White people for so long have used the excuse, why can't I say the N-word when you say that to yourselves or call yourself that or use that in your music, which is bullshit.
Wait, what part's bullshit? That they don't use it in their music? They definitely do. I mean, that's crazy to be like, that's bullshit. It's
Right.
like, bro, if listen, I'm breaking the fourth wall. If a song I really like says nigga, I'm gonna say it. I don't give a fuck. I do not give two fucks. If they wrote it in the fucking song, I'm not saying fucking N-word. I'm not fucking censoring myself. I'm not skipping over it. I'm fucking saying it.
Or white people have said, if you're using the B word, or they say, if you're using the B word, why can't I call them that?
Is he talking about bitch? I mean, what the fuck
That's
is that?
bullshit as well, right? That's excuses to be certain things and be disrespectful when you shouldn't be. So when you're sitting,
So who can? Wait, is this suggestion here that only black men can disrespect black women? What the fuck?
across from Andrew Schulz, and he's talking about an experience that he can't understand because his wife is not black. You don't have the right to talk about that.
Says who, motherfucker? What the fuck? This is comedy, you fucking loser. This guy doesn't fucking understand comedy, that it's a fucking joke. He's making a, you know, perception. He's like giving his perspective on what he sees just based on fucking the internet. The clips we see, black women acting up, doing crazy shit. You'll find millions of clips on the internet. It's like, you can't say, hey, don't acknowledge don't, you know, see what you're seeing through your eyes. Listen to what I'm saying. Like, don't, you're lying, your eyes are lying to you, listen to me. It's like, no,
You don't have the right to speak on something that you don't know.
why the fuck not?
And to make a
fucking
joke
opinion
about
is.
what the experience is one thing if you're talking about haircuts and you're talking about clothing and you're talking about beard.
These guys are
or
fucking
you're
soft as shit.
comparing-
This is the thing. It's like everybody's cool with all the jokes unless it has something to do with them. All jokes are cool until, you know, it's like, oh, you insulted my culture. Well, no, fuck that. You can't talk about that. It's like, well, you had no problem when I was talking about this fucking Chinese hoe. You had no problem when I was talking about this Mexican hoe, this white hoe. But it's like, now it's like terrible. Fuck, these guys are fucking corny and lame.
What our friend
Old dudes just become so fucking lame. It's crazy.
Travis Kelce looked like when he was with Kayla Nicole to what he looks like now that he's with Taylor Swift, right? That is part of it. You start to assimilate to the people around you. What you're not gonna do though is be disrespectful and say you have to develop a defense mechanism because of alleged violence.
Alleged. My guy, alleged. This is wild. How many videos can you see on the internet right fucking now of black NFL players beating the shit out of their girlfriends or their wives in elevators, on the streets, in college? I mean, my guy, this is not allegations. This is not like a myth. It happens.
Women aren't violent. Black women don't just walk around to beat people or to be angry or to be.
I mean, what about that lady
treated
that
a certain
stabbed
way.
that kid,
No.
2-year-old kid
Black
with a
women,
knife?
to me, were the entire front line of the Alton Sterling protest when he died, when he was killed by cops in Louisiana. Black women are on the front lines of.
But you're just talking about, this is anecdotal evidence. This is not like proof that all black women are infallible and you cannot say anything negative about them.
Everything that's about us. Black women understood that they had to take a back seat because as we were fighting for rights in our country, that we as men were going to be
These guys haven't fucking fought for fucking zero rights. These guys have not fought for fucking shit.
able to get through the door before they were. So they decided to push us forward and give us ideas and give us help and give us support and be our biggest cheerleaders because they knew we'll have an opportunity to get in the door first. The problem is,
You guys stopped wifing up those black women and you started dating white girls. That's the fucking problem.
many times now,
The second that black dudes got some fucking money and they're rich, they got a fucking white lady.
we're getting in those doors and we aren't reaching back and bringing them through that same door with us. And this is just another example of that. So whoever is Andrew Schultz's black friend, Charlemagne, you're his black friend. Sit him down, talk to him, tell him what the black woman experience truly is. Because he ain't married to one and he's obviously never been around enough of them to know.
I'm gonna be honest, I've been around a fuck ton of black women, and yeah, a lot of them are fucking crazy and wild. And that's okay, I don't care. But you can't tell me it's like, oh, you're not allowed to talk about them because you're not black. It's like, I don't give a fuck, bro. And especially if it's done in a comedic way. This was so down bad. I don't know what the fuck Ryan Clark was thinking with this fucking thing. Like, why even touch this fucking subject? But he is an ESPN/Disney employee, so he has to come out publicly and, you know, disown any of these comments because of agenda, whatever. It doesn't matter. Andrew Schulz should keep doing his thing. It's It's awesome that he's not backing down. He's not apologizing. He's not doing any of that stupid shit. He's like, this is a comedy show. We do comedy. We talk about whatever, whoever. I wish that he would keep that same energy with some of his other guests, you know, Logan Paul, you know, some other people. But that's neither here nor there. He makes the decisions, and nobody's above criticism. You can criticize me all you want. At that, criticize me in the comment section right now if you think I'm a fucking absolute idiot and, you know, you think I'm wrong. Comment down below. I'm probably not gonna read it, but you can criticize me. I don't give a shit. But I'm not gonna be like, if you criticize me, you're the only people that can criticize me is Latino people. I'm like, this is essentially racism. It's being like saying like, only I don't care the opinions of another person's color or because of their color. I don't care about what you think because you are not my color. That is brain dead. Ryan Clark, huge L. But that's all the time we have for now. If you stay till the end, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. Till next time, later.